It is 8:36 p.m. on a Thursday. The Federal Reserve Bank of New York processes the transfer request without hesitation. $81 million gone, routed through 4 shell accounts in the Philippines, converted to cash, distributed across Macau casinos within 48 hours. By the time anyone realizes what happened, the money is untraceable, unrecoverable, and already laundered. But this isn't a story about $81 million. This is a story about $951 million. The amount that was supposed to disappear that same night. The amount that would have made this the single largest bank theft in human history. It didn't happen because a printer ran out of paper, because a routing instruction contained a spelling error, because a Pakistani correspondent bank noticed an unusual transaction on a Saturday morning and called DACA. One typo, one offline printer, one phone call. That is the only reason the Bangladesh bank still exists. But the operation behind it, the planning, the patience, the nation-state infrastructure required to pull it off, that story has never been told in full. Because the people who built this attack weren't criminals, they were soldiers. To understand what really happened inside Bangladesh Bank, we need to go back 4 years to a government building in Pyongyang and a unit that officially does not exist. North Korea has no functional economy by conventional measures. Its gross domestic product is smaller than the city of Fresno, California. International sanctions, imposed after its first nuclear test in 2006, cut it off from the global financial system almost entirely. But Kim Jong Un inherited something more valuable than hard currency. He inherited an army of hackers, trained from childhood, state-funded, and accountable to no court on Earth. The unit is called Bureau 121. It operates under the Reconnaissance General Bureau, North Korea's primary foreign intelligence agency. At its peak, Bureau 121 runs more than 6,000 cyber operatives, embedded across Pyongyang, Shenyang, Kuala Lumpur, and Minsk. They are not opportunistic criminals. They are engineers assigned a revenue target. By 2013, Kim's regime has a problem. Sanctions are tightening. Weapons procurement channels are closing. The nuclear program needs hard currency, dollars, not one, and it needs them outside the reach of the US Treasury. Someone inside the Reconnaissance General Bureau identifies a solution. The Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication, known as SWIFT, connects over 11,000 financial institutions across 200 countries. It is the invisible rail system of the global economy. Every wire transfer, every international payment, every central bank instruction runs through it. And it has one critical assumption built into its architecture. It assumes the people sending messages through it are who they claim to be. That assumption was the only door they needed. And by 2014, they were already inside Bangladesh Bank, watching, waiting, learning every routine, every password, every gap in the schedule. Bangladesh Bank holds its US dollar reserves at the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, standard practice for developing nation central banks. The reserves sit in an account, accessible via authenticated SWIFT messages. When DACA needs to move money, it sends an instruction. New York executes it. The system is trusted because the authentication credentials are assumed to be secure. The Lazarus Group, the Reconnaissance General Bureau's cyber arm, spends nearly 2 years inside Bangladesh Bank's network before touching a single dollar. They enter through a phishing email, one employee, one click, one piece of malware, and they have a foothold inside the bank's internal systems by early 2015. What follows is methodical. They map the network. They identify the SWIFT terminal, a standalone computer used to compose and send international transfer instructions. They study the authentication process. They watch operators log in, execute transfers, and log out, day after day, for months. They also discover something critical. Bangladesh Bank's cybersecurity is almost non-existent. The network switches cost less than $10 each. There is no firewall between the SWIFT terminal and the rest of the bank's systems. The printer connected to the SWIFT terminal, the machine that produces paper records of every transaction, runs on shared infrastructure. The plan is elegant in its simplicity. Compromise the SWIFT credentials, send transfer instructions to the Federal Reserve, delete the digital records, disable the printer, move the money before anyone has a paper trail to follow. 35 transfer requests, $1 billion, processed on a Thursday night, chosen deliberately because Friday is a holiday in Bangladesh, and the weekend gives the money time to disappear. Everything was in place. The credentials were ready. The accounts were open. The only thing left was to execute. February 4th, 2016, Thursday evening, Dhaka, the Lazarus group activates the malware they planted 11 months earlier. The SWIFT terminal at Bangladesh Bank begins sending transfer requests to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, authenticated, formatted correctly, indistinguishable from legitimate instructions. Request 1, $20 million to a Sri Lankan nonprofit. Requests 2 through 34, varying amounts, all routed to 4 accounts at the Rizal Commercial Banking Corporation in Manila, Philippines. New York begins processing. The malware simultaneously overwrites the SWIFT transaction logs inside Bangladesh Bank. No record of outgoing messages. The operators who arrive Friday morning will see nothing unusual because the system will show them nothing. The printer is offline. The one physical failsafe, gone. New York approves 5 of the 35 requests before a human analyst pauses. One of the recipient account names, the Sri Lankan nonprofit, contains a spelling error, foundation, instead of foundation. The analyst flags it. New York contacts Bangladesh Bank. Bangladesh Bank is closed for the weekend. New York holds the remaining 30 requests, $950 million, pending verification. They will stay held until Sunday, when Dhaka finally responds. But $81 million is already moving. It clears into the 4 RCBC accounts in Manila on Friday morning. The same day, the Philippines begins a week-long Lunar New Year holiday. The accounts were opened months earlier by a man using forged identity documents. He withdraws the full amount in cash over 4 days. The cash moves to foreign exchange brokers, then to casinos in Macau, where it becomes gambling chips. And chips become clean money, and clean money becomes untraceable. In 72 hours, the trail is cold. The official statement from Bangladesh Bank came on Monday. It described a technical anomaly. It said almost nothing, and that silence would not hold for long. Bangladesh Bank's governor resigns within weeks. The Bangladesh government initially blames the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve points to the authenticated SWIFT messages, correctly sent, correctly formatted, correctly processed. SWIFT issues a statement clarifying that its network was not breached. The malware was inside Bangladesh Bank. The credentials were stolen from Bangladesh Bank. The finger pointing lasts months. Investigators from BAE Systems and FireEye begin forensic analysis of the malware. What they find reorients the entire investigation. The code shares components with malware used in the 2014 Sony Pictures hack. The same tooling, the same obfuscation techniques, the same digital fingerprints previously attributed to the Lazarus group, and through them to Bureau 121 of North Korea's Reconnaissance General Bureau. This was not organized crime. This was a nation-state running a bank robbery as a foreign policy instrument. The United States Department of Justice eventually indicts 3 North Korean nationals in 2021. John Chang-hyuk, Kim Il, and Park Jin-hyuk for the Bangladesh heist and a broader pattern of state-sponsored financial crime totaling $1.3 billion across multiple countries. None of them will ever stand trial. North Korea denies everything. It always does. The Philippines recovers approximately $68,000 of the $81 million. One casino junket operator is convicted of money laundering. The RCBC branch manager, who processed the withdrawals without raising alarms, is dismissed. The remaining $80 million never recovered. But the most important question was never about the money. It was about what came after. Because Bangladesh Bank was not the last target. It was the proof of concept. In the 18 months following the Bangladesh heist, the Lazarus Group attempts similar swift attacks against banks in Vietnam, Ecuador, Taiwan, and the Philippines. The techniques evolve, the tooling improves, the targeting becomes more precise. The United Nations panel of experts estimates that between 2016 and 2023, North Korea steals approximately $3 billion through cyber operations, cryptocurrency exchanges, DeFi protocols, and swift manipulation. The funds flow directly into the weapons program, directly into ballistic missile development, directly into the nuclear arsenal. SWIFT issues security upgrades. Central banks across the developing world scramble to harden their systems. The Federal Reserve introduces additional verification layers for large transfers from high-risk jurisdictions. But the architecture of the global financial system, built on trust, built on the assumption that authenticated messages come from authorized senders, that architecture has not fundamentally changed. 11,000 financial institutions, 200 countries, billions of dollars moving every hour through a system that still assumes the person sending the message is who they say they are. North Korea found that assumption in 2014. They tested it in 2016. And for the price of a phishing email and a printer that ran out of paper, they nearly rewrote the limits of what a sanctioned, isolated nation state can take from the world. The printer got a refill. The vulnerability never did.